know you, sexy lady.
When you're in your 20s, you're meant to be living your best life.
It's off.
Replay.
But right now, with rent prices rising,
A growing number of young people are paying unaffordable rent.
Paying landlords more than 30% of their income.
it's hard to keep a roof over your head.
So it looks like if you want to pay any less than £600, you can reside in a garage.
With over 1,000 eviction notices issued every week.
I've had my eviction notice.
Evicting someone is a very violent act.
And protests going on around the country. What's it like to be evicted?
Sometimes you've got to fight a fire with fire.
What do people do?
I am so petrified. It feels like David and Goliath.
You're evicting us in the cost of living crisis and the housing crisis.
And where do they end up?
I'm supposed to sleep on a bunk bed.
You want to be in a position where you have a home every night, but unfortunately I've lost that.
It's just not home, is it?
So this is my most favourite part of the flat, my own private bathroom. It's very, very tiny. If you want to bend down in the shower, you've got to do a slap drop. And I get to put my little decorations up. And that really is me trying to polish a turd, really, by getting all my nice bits up.
Ty's lived in the St Philip's area of Bristol for 3.5 years. She moved to Bristol from Cornwall for its music scene and stayed for her dream job as a sales and marketing manager at an escape room.
So there's just tickets to loads of stuff and like mementos from events. That's why I came to Bristol, because it's full of the things that I love to do. You know, like the UK drum and bass scene started here. It's my favourite genre. Isn't that wonderful? That I can live in the city that the music that I love was born and bred. I think that's fantastic. Since I've been here, I've turned it into a home. It's my tiny slice of Bristol.
But tiny flats don't mean tiny prices in a cost of living crisis.
Here's the letter that I received last week. The landlord is wanting to put you on a new 6-month contract with a high rent of £750. That's a 66.6% increase on what I'm already paying, which is £450 a month. To me, that's not a rent increase, that's a coveted eviction. Read it about 4 times and then burst into tears.
Ty had a rent reduction during COVID and only one small rent increase in 3 years. But this new hike would mean over half of Ty's £1,400 a month salary is going on rent.
So I've sought legal advice from my employer, basically, who's put me in touch with our accounts team, who have explained to me that it should be illegal for my landlord to raise my rent twice within 12 months. This is my reply. I'm having to hand deliver this today. I do not agree with said proposed rent increase. The amount proposed is unreasonable. The reason why I came to this area was because it was considerably cheaper. The area is particularly rough. It's full of spirit, but it's also full of violence and a lot of poverty. What's happening is, due to these gated communities, you're getting these high-end flats that are popping up, and they're pleasant, they're off the main road, and they're gated with their own parking. They're pushing up the value of this area.
Ty needs to send her reply within 5 days, so she's playing it safe and taking it directly to the letting agent.
Yeah, the gate's locked now. So 2 days are the days that I had to reply to this. They're not even open, and I can't drop it in. I might go and check to see with them, to see if they know if I can drop this in with next door. Sorry to bother you. I'm trying to deliver a letter. Do you know if I can get on to the property at all?
If you want, you can live with us and then we give to them tomorrow.
That would be very kind. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help.
With the proposed rent out of Ty's reach, she's worried about her future.
So I'm looking at homelessness right before Christmas, and 4 days ago, I had absolutely no idea this was happening. I am petrified of this fight. It feels like David and Goliath. It makes me really angry. I'm not allowed to live in the one place in the UK that I wanted to live. And it just feels like you don't earn enough to be in this club. And Bristol's not about that. Bristol should be for the working class. And it's not allowed. I'm not allowed to be here anymore, regardless.
Hello. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm just sorting through my house at the moment because I've got to move.
Dawn has 2 kids and has lived in her 3-bed semi for nearly 5 years. She works as a personal trainer but is on maternity leave, having had a baby 3 weeks ago. Today is the day Dawn's been dreading for months.
So I'm still shaking, but I've had my eviction notice, and knowing that my baby's literally going to be a month old and we've got nowhere to go, that's really scary. I went out to the door to see if I'd had a delivery, but instead of having the delivery, I had this letter. So this basically means that the bailiffs are going to come to the house. I'll have like an hour to collect my belongings, and then I'll have to take that to the council. So I'm going to have to pack up like the whole house within 2 weeks, make sure that everything's ready to go, because I don't obviously want bailiffs to come into my home.
Despite always paying her rent on time, Dawn was first served a Section 21 no-fault eviction notice 10 months ago, when she told the landlord she couldn't afford to pay a rent increase. Unable to find somewhere else to live, Dawn didn't move out. Now the landlord has obtained a court order to repossess the property.
When you're waiting for these things to happen, you sort of pretend that it's not happening. I've banged my head against a brick wall for months, trying to get help because I didn't want to be in this position with a newborn baby. But here I am with a newborn baby, about to have a month-old and going to the council with my bags, basically.
When she couldn't find alternative housing, Dawn said the council advised her to wait to be evicted by the bailiffs, as this will help entitle her to emergency accommodation. This is common advice from councils in the UK, but Dawn feels it's added undue stress to her situation.
You just sort of are sitting duck and you're waiting to find out when this will happen. Obviously, now having a 2-week time frame is better than having no time frame. However, having 2 weeks is obviously pretty scary. There's a lot to get done in 2 weeks. I'm angry that the council have let it get to this point. You know, they're meant to help us and they're meant to be there. That's why people pay council tax. That's why people pay taxes. I feel bad on my kids that I'm going to have to mess them around and I haven't got somewhere secure for them, and I hate that. It makes me feel like I've kind of failed.
It's not only being on maternity leave that has Dawn struggling to afford a new place.
My mum passed away last November. I had to find £3,500 to pay for a funeral. One of the things I did actually think about is this was the last place that I was with my mum. So yeah. All my memories that are here are going to be gone now. Obviously, I'll make new memories, but it's still quite sad.
There's no house managers in at the moment, no. There's just the landlord, who's probably, like, wondering, what are they doing?
Tobias rents a room in a North London warehouse conversion. He moved to the city to pursue his dreams as a fashion designer. But he's found himself working in online food delivery and relying on universal credit to afford the £700 a month he spends on rent.
Living room. It's quite narrow. Like, that's saying you couldn't swing a cat. You really couldn't swing a cat in here. That may be on the contract. No swinging cats.
He shares the space with 9 others.
This is our lovely food storage area. As you can see, it's an epitome of cleanliness. This is our kitchen. There's no silicone here. I don't think they've grouted, actually. This is my favourite thing. I mean...
What's kept in that wardrobe, then?
You can hang your clothes and your bananas at the same time. This is the bathroom, stuff like that. Like, there's holes in the fixes. But at least we have hot running water now, which was only installed in, I think, a month or two back.
He hasn't been happy with the conditions in the warehouse. Tobias and other residents complained to the house managers, and it all kicked off on the group chat. Even though the landlord gave a £100 rent reduction for the showers, it all went from bad to worse for Tobias.
The house managers were like, it's probably best that you should leave because causing trouble within the house.
What form did that come in? Was it just
It was verbal, followed up by a WhatsApp text message.
And have you ever received anything in writing?
Nothing, no.
Tobias had no communication from the landlord at the time, and he has since denied any wrongdoing. But Tobias believed he was being evicted.
So, I mean, this is like my condensed wardrobe. It just was not possible to bring every bit of clothing to London. I started a fashion design degree in Salford, and I did a couple of years there and came to intern for a designer here. And then I have just lingered around since. I was hoping to progress by meeting people in the fashion industry and doing more of that, but like, I've not achieved my objective.
Tobias was meant to hand the keys back 3 weeks ago, and although he'd initially agreed, he's now refusing to leave. And that's not the only stand he's taking.
Why have you decided to not pay rent?
I decided to not pay rent because being evicted and being made homeless, or the threat of it, it's just not a nice feeling. Like, I mean, I've sort of suffered anxiety like I've never experienced before, and like that's really quite unsettling, really. And you know, I don't feel like I should be still paying someone who's made me feel that bad.
In Bristol, it's 8 days since Ty wrote to her landlord, rejecting her second rent increase in 6 months, which the landlord says would bring her rent in line with market rates. And after a 12-hour shift, she's off home to see if she's got a reply.
So heading back to my house now, and I'm hoping there's going to be a letter from my landlord. So, I mean, if it doesn't come today, it's just going to start getting ridiculous.
You got it?
Mm-hmm. That's the one. Really, really frightened to open this.
Are you also a bit relieved that it's here?
I don't think relief is the word to describe the feeling of it coming, just trepidation at this point. Let's see what they've said. Dear Thaisa, we have been instructed by the landlord to carry out a review of your rent you are currently paying. Following the review and assessment of the current rental market, increased mortgage and maintenance costs, a decision has been made to serve notice to increase the rent you are currently paying, which is what I was expecting. The new amount of £750 will be payable from March 15th. So they've backtracked slightly there. So my punt at them not being able to do this till March was correct. I'm proud of the fact that I've fought this, and because I've stepped up and shouted, they've heard me, and because of the way that I've behaved, they're now acting by law. So that's... It's a mixture of good news and bad news. I can breathe easy now till March, and then the fight will be I'm not paying that much, basically. So I was paying £450 rent, and they'd like to increase that by 66.6% to £750 a month. And if I could afford £750, I'd be living in a much nicer accommodation, basically. So that's not going to happen. Even if they insisted on £750, there's no way I could do it. That's well over half my wage a month. Yeah, it's just laughable, isn't it?
With no family to fall back on in Bristol, it's not just her flat that she'll lose. It's the life she's built up in the city.
At the moment, I'm being so frugal that there's nothing I can really cut. I rarely go out, I rarely do anything. I don't put on the heating. I really think about it, whether or not I need to use the oven that evening. I usually eat 1 or 2 meals a day, and there's been several instances where I've had to turn to my mum and say, I don't have any money this month, and she's given me £20 so I can buy some vegetables and fruit, some milk and bread, so I can eat for the week. So there's no way I could afford an extra £300 a month.
These guys getting evicted. He's an indoor cat. He's used to this environment.
Music production graduate Ben lives in a block of flats with his girlfriend and their 2 cats. They moved from Derby to Manchester 3 years ago, where Ben works as a chef for a bakery just a short walk from the flat. But the easy commute could soon become a thing of the past.
So is that the Section 21?
Yes. So Housing Act 1988, Section 21. It's just a lot of terminology, which is very hard to wrap around anyway. With heavy like documents like this with loads of terminology, they use that as a tactic to maybe confuse and outwit tenants, maybe. We're not the only people that have been served this Section 21 notice. From what I can perceive, it's probably 80 to 85% of the building.
Ben and the other tenants say they're not sure why they have been served notice, but the building does have issues with damp and is undergoing major refurbishment. He's not keen to leave the first place that's felt like home.
It's heartbreaking because I have genuinely found my identity here in terms of expression, sexuality. It's achieved a lot of things for me. I did music tech and production in uni, so this is very much our creative space. I have various synths, music equipment, studio monitors, and stuff like that, so we often spend a lot of our time here. We do love this room a lot. It's only just recently we've just bought a new desk here, like maybe a month ago, and it's so sad that we have to be evicted because we just literally turned it to a perfect space.
Ben feels the odds are stacked against him and the law isn't on his side, as no-fault evictions are still legal in England.
We were determined to fight and find a solicitor, but I don't think the end goal is really worth it to buy an extra few months in this property, living in instability. I think now we've been served this eviction notice, there's no point staying here. We don't want to have to live somewhere which is actively plotting against you.
So I've got 8 days until I am evicted. I have so much to do.
Dawn and her children are being evicted from the house she's rented for the last 5 years.
You put your wall paint on, don't you? Ready to, like, tackle the day and get on with what you've got to get on with. So the landlord said that the area in general had gone up massively, and if I did have a look around, I would notice that everywhere had gone up. There's a train station right behind where I live. It's only like 3 stops to Birmingham city centre, so I do think that's why the rent has shot up. I am paying £600 per month. I believe they thought that they could get sort of like £795, nearly £800 for the month, which would have made me end up getting into debt or really struggling, to be honest.
Ansar is the estate agent that's been hired by Dawn's landlord to oversee her eviction.
I don't think it's anything personal against Dawn, the tenant. The landlord's after a higher amount of rent to go in line with his monthly mortgage payments, which his fixed period has ended, so his mortgage has shot up, the monthly payment, so therefore he's in a position where he really has no choice but to evict Dawn.
Is that a common thing? You're hearing that a lot at the moment.
Oh, it's happening. This is happening up and down the country, so it's nothing new, and it's only going to get worse. To be fair, the way things are, we are definitely doing more evictions than we used to. It used to be the odd 1 or 2 here and there a month, but now it's just become a norm. Now it's like a regular occurrence at the moment. Where the rents used to be $650, landlords are demanding $900. They just keep going up. There's no coming down at the moment. Once they go up, they stay up. The perfect storm.
Fashion graduate Tobias fears he could be evicted. He's refusing to pay rent in his North London warehouse, but he's super stressed out. He's gone back to his hometown Manchester for a few days.
Hello, how are you?
What are the prices like now for house shares?
I'm looking for $350, but that's quite a cheap one. But yeah, can go up to, with bills it'll be like $550 or something.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Are they going through the process of like legally trying to get rid of you?
I feel like they're not going to evict me because they said it to my other housemates who left, but they're going to go through the courts. So I don't think they're going to physically move me out, which was something I was worried about at first. And it's still kind of am. I've had to install a camera in my room.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, man, I don't know how you deal with it all. I'd just leave at the first opportunity.
I know, but I'm kind of like, that's my room.
It's not worth your mental health.
I know.
So that's your room?
I know it's the obvious thing is people are like, just move, but it's like, where the fuck am I going to go? It's not like moving's easy either. Finding a room in London is exhausting. Like, I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I sort of stayed there so long, because I was like, the trauma of finding a room is a lot.
But you are not in a good place right now, so, like, rightfully so, you're like sticking to your guns and making it an issue, but then what's going to happen after?
I've never been to this point where I haven't I've thought that I can't function at all. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, my head's been all over the place. I left my work's laptop on a bus and I was literally having a nervous breakdown, and I've never been this low in myself. So when I want to know my legal rights, that is like the biggest thing. I want to know, is there a case for prosecution? What I don't want to do is give them back the keys without having first thoroughly explored the legal opportunities first. Find an outcome that's sort of pleasing to me and that doesn't feel like I've just been fucked over.
The reality of finding a new place to live is becoming a nightmare for Ben.
It's so competitive, and the stress has really kicked in of how competitive the situation is. It's near impossible to get those viewings. Some people are paying 1 year's worth of rent in advance.
His property search has thrown up some interesting results.
I was looking through like buildings in the area that are up for rent. Our apartments that people have already been moved out have been done up and ready for people to move in. So we were paying $670 a month for a 2-bed flat. These are £1,450, and they're just letting people in.
Ben and some other tenants believe the landlord just wanted to raise the rent, but the new flats have been completely refurbished to deal with ongoing damp problems in the building.
When we received the Section 21 notice, initially I thought it was due to damp reasons in the building, but we're not legally obliged to know why we're being evicted. That would naturally lead to assumptions and speculation. It could be the rent increase, it could be because of damp, it could be they just want to get rid of the old tenants and get newer tenants that won't cause a fuss.
As a chef, Ben earns more than the national average, but he has no savings to fall back on.
Kind of spiraled out into some sort of disassociated state. I was at work and was just thinking about the situation, and then my general mood just got worse. I just went really quiet, and I was quite irritable as well. I think there might be symptoms for an anxiety attack, but I'm not too sure. But you don't want to be stuck in a situation like this, and it's not good.
The bailiffs will be evicting Dawn in just 8 days, but in the meantime, she's been busy trying to bid for a more permanent council house to avoid going into emergency accommodation.
Every Wednesday you've got to log on to the council website. Any new properties that are sort of available will go live on there, and you've got a chance to then bid. You will be put into a queue essentially, which normally I'm really quite low down the queue.
Dawn needs a minimum of 2 beds and the house needs to be dog friendly.
I am not moving anywhere without my dog. That is like saying getting rid of a child. And I think it's a human right for us to be able to have something like a pet if we want to. So there is a house. It's quite far away though, but I'm only position 15, so I wouldn't get that. There's another house, I'm position 212. I'm number 4 on this. It's a high-rise flat, which is floor 10, which is also no dogs allowed, and it's in Cradley Heath, which is so far away. And then the last house on there, I'm a position 175. 19 houses now that I've bid on, and I've come absolutely nowhere near. Everything's so vague and so unknown, you really, really don't know. You don't know whether you're coming or going, it's so annoying.
It's crazy. I've got to get so much done, I just don't know how I'm going to do it.
Hello, darling, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Worried about you.
Escape room sales and marketing manager Ty is concerned about losing her Bristol home.
What are you going to do?
So, if we can't do anything, then I know I'm out in March, but at least I have the answer, at least I know.
But, how do you feel about coming back to Cornwall?
It would be desperately upsetting for me to have to give up my life in Bristol.
Cornwall is just as bad for homes, and wages are appalling, so I don't know how, if you come home, you'll ever get out of it, really. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I feel getting a bit upset. I just feel so fed up with it.
You work and you work and you work, and you got nothing to show for it,
Are you still got the antidepressants at the moment? I'm
on anti-anxiety, I'm on diazepam. Feel physically well, but just quite anxious and down all the time, unfortunately.
I'm here. I'm here for you.
That's all I need, Mum. That's all I need.
All right, my darling. Well, it's lovely to see you, and you ring me any time, all
Thanks,
right?
Mum. I will.
The process has just been quite turbulent, in terms of mental health. Dehumanising.
Fuck that. I'm definitely determined to fight this.
Just to be thrown out pretty much at the end of it for no particular reason.
The eviction is happening tomorrow. I'm tired, I'm a bit emotional.
The nightmare scenario will be if Dawn refuses to leave the property, and then the bailiffs will have to carry out the eviction forcefully.